Big Cat Rescue uses Google Apps Education, and you can get that for free. Just Google Apps Education and find out how. But these are just some of the ways that we communicate with our 100+ volunteers. It has an opening front page, a start page here. We give them an easy start page for our new volunteers that tells them how to log in for the first time, how to schedule themselves on the calendars, how to make sure that they're showing up and can come in for duty, any observations that they see of the cats, how to post those. We require that our volunteers log at least 4 hours per week and in order to be in the volunteer program. So we have another site called FreshBooks that we use for keeping track of those hours, but here we give them the link to that and the instructions on how to use it. We also tell them how to set up their new Gmail account, and we warn them to only edit certain parts of the site. In the back end of this, you'll see how you can set it up so that some parts of the site can be edited by all of the volunteers, other parts only by certain volunteers based upon their level of permissions. We also list a full instructions page which goes into much more detail. Also tells them that they need to contact the operations manager by radio if there's any problem immediately, but that all of these things that we're asking them to do online are so that we can keep records of what has happened throughout the day. All of the important info is kept on a page here where they have the contact information for their coordinators. All of the recent announcements will show up here, and that is taken from the important updates. So as we add to important updates, it will show up here under recent announcements. We also include an emergency checklist which gives them the chain of command and how to handle emergencies. We put our video of the week over here just to give them an interesting thing to check into, and all of the email addresses of the different groups that they can contact as a group. So each of our people will have their own name, such as dennis.mitchell@bigcatrescue.org, but if you were to email everyone at bigcatrescue.org, you would also receive Dennis Mitchell in that group. These email addresses can only be sent to by those who have permissions to send to them. So even though we create an email address called everyone@bigcatrescue, there are only certain people who have the permissions necessary in order to send to that group, so that you don't have people just bombarding each other with emails. The important updates section has a new post button, whereas new important updates are necessary. Anybody can post them who has permissions to do so. You can also embed a photo, spreadsheets. Editing a page is very easy. I'm going to select our newsletter here. And to edit this page, you would just click Edit Page. And you can see that this little box here, when you click on it, will have properties. And what I've done here is included something that is automatic that will keep track of all of the pages below this. So it's set to run automatically. If I wanted to put in a YouTube video, I would just insert my cursor there. Go up here to Insert, Video, YouTube, copy in the URL of one of our YouTube videos. I don't care to have the borders around them or the titles. Select Save. And now you can see it has installed this box that says it's the YouTube. You can click on it and bring up the properties to turn the wrap on, move it to the right or to the left or wherever you want it, and then go up to the top of the page and click Save, and voila, your video is ready to go.
A question we always get from tour guests and from
Creating a new page is just as easy. Just click the Create Page tab Gives you all of these different options of what kind of a page you would like to create, whether you want it at the top level, if you want it under one of the subcategories on the left-hand side, and then you would create the page. The calendars are an important part of what we do at Big Cat Rescue. Depending on the volunteer's level of permissions, they have access to different calendars, and what we ask our volunteers to do is to post when they are coming in to work on the calendars so that our coordinators can look at the calendar and see how many of the different level people they have for different activities. We have a very structured volunteer program, so we have our interns, we have our highest level of keeper, which is the green level, we have yellow level keepers, which is intermediate, and then we also have trainees, which are our red shirts. Our partners work all of our admin activities, such as manning the gift shop, sending out thank you notes, and going to outreach events. To give you an idea of what those calendars look like, we'll go over to the partners calendar, and this will show you all of the partners that have signed up and when they're coming in to work. On-site and off-site events have their own calendar, which show events that are coming up. The keeper's yellow calendar tells us how many yellow level keepers we have, and they're signing into these calendars themselves and posting themselves as coming into work so that we know whether or not we have enough coverage. Now, all of these are the way that you see it, the view that you see it from our bigcat.me site. To give you an idea of what that looks like, when you log into your calendar, it's color coordinated over here. We can choose the colors for the calendar so that everybody has the same calendar. When we're talking to a new one, to tell them to look on the green classes offered calendar, then they know that it's going to show up in this kind of teal green. You can also turn these off so that you can only see the ones that you're interested in seeing. So like if you turn off my personal calendar, maybe turn off the green keeper calendar, and that way you can see the people a little bit more clearly. Turning them back on is just a matter of clicking them like this. You also have a day version, which is how our operations manager likes to do this. She will print these out so that she can carry them around with her during the day. Also, you can do it in a month, 4 days, or as an agenda type file. You can set different permissions for the calendars. So with the staff calendar, only the staff can see what is actually happening on that day, and anyone else, if they were to be logged in, would only see that we are busy. And the reason that we have this available for everybody to see whether or not we're busy is so that they can see if there's a lot of work being done on that day and maybe we need extra coverage, without actually giving them all of the details that only the staff should see. Same thing with the trainees. These are our newest people. They only have access to certain trainee sections of the site so that they can't accidentally delete things that they shouldn't, or have information that maybe we don't quite trust them with yet. We also have a vacation away calendar that lets us know when people are going to be out of town. And all of these, again, will show up on the main calendars like this. One of the things that I like best about this is that it can be synced to our iPhones, and all of our staff and key volunteers carry an iPhone, so they will have these calendars with them at all times. They'll have the important information with them at all times. They'll always have access to the important updates. They can actually make important updates from the field if we're moving a cat and we want to let everybody know that a tiger has been moved from one enclosure to another enclosure. We can do it right there from our iPhone so that everybody can log in at any given time and see exactly what is going on at the sanctuary at that moment in time. And yet it's restricted by these permission levels and restricted entirely to people that we have given a @bigcatrescue.org email address. Without that email address, they can't have access to the site at all. Now, you have the option of changing that. You can make it public to as many people as you want, but for us, there's a lot of very detailed information here about the health of our cats and medical issues and things that we just wouldn't want to be sharing with the entire world and have that taken out of context. So it's a great way to keep all of our people up to date without having to update the entire world.